TalkIT tutorial on the C++ language. So we've already done lab 1 and we're going to be moving on to lab 2. Lab 2 is more of an explanation that I don't feel that you would necessarily need me to go over in such detail. I've already talked about the main function and how that's the starting point for the application. I mean, you should probably just be able to read this yourself, work it out. When I go into the file, I might be able to show you some of this stuff while we also go on to the next lab, which is where we'll actually start to write a small amount of code. So this is lab 3. So we've created a application called triangle mass. So let's open that up, and you saw triangle mass C++ here, and we've also got our stdafx, and you'll see this also includes a header file. So we go over to there, and this includes standard input output, tchar there, target var. So what happens is this just gets compiled once and doesn't require compiling all the time, which is useful. If you're wondering what compiling is, you can go onto the Jargon Buster and it should help explain what compilation is, and also you could just Google compilers, compilation, interpretation, just to understand about how programs are run and how C++ is a compiled language. So let's actually write some C++. So what I'm going to actually do is just import a few things first. Okay, so I've got IOStream and CMass, which we're going to be using in a second. So going to get using namespace standard, and then we're going to do the usual thing where we actually print out hello world. Okay, like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly do something which means the console won't close because I'm asking for input, so you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to run that now for you. Okay, hello world in the console. It's very simple, not a problem. So now we're going to actually build the application. So that was just hello world, and all you did was console out there, scout. So build and run the application, that's what I've done. You can do Control plus F5, or as I just did, just run local window debugger. Either or, it's up to you. So now we're going to enhance the application. So I'm assuming you understand this, how a right angle triangle, and you can work out the lengths. So please enter the opposite length, the adjacent length, and then you've got a hypotenuse length. Now, if you don't understand this, Google will be your friend here, or by the almighty Bing as well. So what I'm going to do is just copy this like so. I'm going to just copy it from my current application just to save an awful lot of time, because I'm pretty sure you do not want to see me just writing, and with my horrific spelling everything probably will end up being wrong. So please enter the opposite length of the triangle. Thanks. Now enter the adjacent length. So what we're saying is we're defining our variables, and then we're getting the we're asking for the user input, and we're defining that as opposite there and adjacent here. Then the area is going to be the opposite times adjacent divided by 2, square, and we're obviously working out a triangle, so you just divide it by 2. So the hypotenuse is the square root of the opposite here, opposite times opposite, plus adjacent times adjacent. So this is using Pythagoras theorem, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Area of the triangle hypotenuse. Calculate the Calculate and display the angles. We'll assume a right angled triangle, so one angle is definitely 90 degrees. Doing a small amount of triangle maths, you actually can work out the angles. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just asking again for user input, and what that means is the console won't close straight away. Otherwise it'll run through all the code and it'll just end. And actually I will quickly show you what that looks like so you can understand what I mean. So I'm going to run it here. So enter the length of a triangle 5, 3, and it's closed. That's because it's run through all the code successfully and there's no need to wait for any input. So enter the opposite length of a triangle and the adjacent length, and there you go. Area of a triangle, hypotenuse, angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. And that is that, and I can end that now. So that's our running application, and that is your first C++ application done. So thank you for listening, and I hope you continue on to the next